Okay, let's sum up the preseason here. Evans, who is your baller of the preseason?
I'm going to go Jared Sullinger. We didn't see him tonight, unfortunately. He's been out sick. But Sullinger's been a consistent presence this preseason. He's been rebounding. He's been giving them some post-scoring. He's giving them everything they need from that role. And I think Sullinger's been really strong. I think he's going to have a breakout year, back from injury, ready to be a really productive player.
And the big thing is there's been no back issues. I mean, that's the one thing that you were hoping you wouldn't hear is, back spasm or something like that.
Yeah, they wanted to have that surgery be, a final thing, once and for all, fix it, so it's never any problems again. And I think we can optimistically say that's going to happen.
Yeah. My baller of the preseason is another young big man, Kelly Olynyk.
Nice.
I like that pick a lot when they made it because I think that it's good for who they are now. It's not a project guy. It's a guy that can come in and help them this year. And I don't think the Celtics have drafted a guy like that. I mean, Sullinger last year. But before Sullinger, I mean, the guys they were picking were, obviously they were picking later in the draft, so they didn't really have as many choices. But they were just more NBA-ready guys. I mean, they cut Juwan Johnson. He's not in the league. Yeah. Who's the other guy before that? The year they won the whole thing.
Each one more?
No.
Oh, the year they won the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Poe.
No.
Lester Hudson. What? That was the year they won the whole thing.
No,
it's fine. Keep going.
Marcus Banks.
Semi or
Luke
Harangody. J.R. Giddens.
J.R. Giddens.
Okay,
guys like that, they were like, and even like with Fab, guys that are.
Well, Avery Bradley, they took a year to develop him before he played. I mean,
right? No, that was another one. That was more of a.
He literally did not play.
Right.
He played like 18 minutes all season.
Yeah, he had like 20 minutes against the Knicks.
But that also has to do with where those teams were. They're not going to start or play big minutes. But this is a guy in Olynyk that we've seen in preseason. He can do a lot of different things already in the league, and he's just what Brad Stevens likes in a big man because he can run the floor and he can hit outside shots. And he's a big 3-point shooter guy. I mean, if he had his way, the Celtics would never take an 18-foot jumper, I don't think, once all year. I mean, he wants 3-pointers or get to the lane. And I think Olynyk is a guy that we saw at Gonzaga. He can stretch the floor, and he can shoot the three better than other guys that are shooting the three, like Favarani and Sullinger. When those guys take threes, I'm more like this.
Especially Sullinger,
yeah, but when Olynyk takes a three, I'm okay with it because I know that's part of his game. And I just really think that he's a guy that I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. But I think he's going to be a rookie that's really going to contribute to the Celtics' success this year.
How many times this year are people going to talk about how he used to be a point guard? That's why he's so good with the ball, such a good shooter. It's got to burn out pretty quickly, I'd assume.
Yeah, but I mean, every good game.
We haven't talked about that at all yet. You ruined our streak. Nice going, Jared.
Every time he puts up 5 or 6 assists or something, I'm sure it'll come up. But he really is that type of big man where he can do a lot. I mean, he's a good passer, and Steven says that he's even passing too much right now. He wants him to shoot more, and I think that's common with some rookies. They're quick to dish it off to a guy who's been in the league a lot longer. But that'll come in time. He'll get more confidence in his shot, and as soon as that happens, we'll start knocking him down. And I think that it'll be a really good pick for the Celtics.
Definitely.
All right, so for me, it's Gerald Wallace because he was supposed to be kind of the guy we had to take on. The Celtics had to take on.
Filler, yeah.
Exactly. But he is on the Gerald Wallace World Redemption Tour to try to get traded out of here before the deadline to a contender. I mean, he's a legit guy. Obviously, he's got a lot of integrity in his game. He plays hard. That's how he's that's why they call him Crash. And it's clearly a good locker room leader. The way that he called the team out. But you see him; he's kind of messing with guys while they're on camera in the locker room, stuff like that. Clearly, he's a really good locker room leader. He's like Johnny Gomes if Johnny Gomes is hitting about 290 with 25 home runs because he's producing really well in the preseason. He's been the most productive player on this team. That's been a nice surprise because we knew he was a productive player, but he just looks a lot more confident in his offensive game than he did in the last season and a half since he was in Brooklyn.
Right. When you look at it's and not the statistic, but in everything, it's what have you done for me lately? Last year he didn't have a good year. He was, or statistically speaking, he wasn't asked to do as much. I mean, he did, and his role was a little bit lost, I think. But if you go back to his time on, was it the Blazers and the Hornets, Bobcats, whatever.
Getting ready for next year.
Right. Yeah. He put up decent numbers. I mean, I'm not saying that he's put up numbers that deserved the contract that he got, but at least they were a lot closer. I mean, and he can produce for the Celtics. I mean, obviously it's still a bad contract, but I mean, if he plays well enough this season and he has the right attitude, they just might be able to trade him.
Yeah.
Crazy 2010, he led a team to the playoffs. I mean, he was the leader on that Bobcats team that was 7 or 8 seed.
Right.
Like, he could do that again.
Right.
Hold on, they had Sean May on that team.
Excuse me,
they had Sean May on that team. I think he might have still been in the league.
I think they had Sean May. Well, and they had Ray Felton. I think.
Wow. Okay, so that was a deadly team, is what we're saying.
Pretty much.
So he didn't lead them.
I mean, yeah.
He co-led them.
All right. Okay.
Yes. So who do you think is going to be the baller of the season, not counting Rondo, assuming Rondo comes back, but just at least for the first half of the season, Jimmy, who do you think is going to be their most important player?
It has to be Green. If it's not Green, then something has gone wrong because he's the guy that has we've been doing the show for whatever long, 15, 20 minutes, however long, we haven't mentioned his name yet, Jeff Green. And I think that sums up his...
Did he play tonight?
That sums up his preseason, and we really haven't gone...
Minutes.
Well, that was kind of a half-serious question because when I started asking that, I couldn't remember if he played tonight.
He did play.
He
He actually got injured in the fourth quarter.
That's true, yeah.
But all that aside...
He'll be fine, by the way.
All that aside, he needs to be the team's best player because he has that talent and ability.
I don't think he needs to. You finish.
Wait,
I'm
when you say he has to be, do you mean like logically you would assume he would be, or they need him to be?
I think that they need
both,
him
right?
to be. Yeah, absolutely. I think that they need him to be the best player because he is kind of their best player. And if you're not getting that out of him, then you're not getting enough out of him. And they're not going to win many games if he's not producing for you. It's as simple as that.
I think you have two guys in Jeff Green and Gerald Wallace who play the same position. They kind of make each other a little bit redundant. And Green feels this competition like, oh, this guy's fighting for my minutes, fighting for my role. And I think he's kind of shrinking away from that, and that makes me worry. And I think maybe it's okay because I can just have Gerald Wallace play that role instead, and Green can go back to the bench and be the same backup he was last year.
It's just,
I mean,
they can play both those guys.
But you're saying Green is the backup he was last year?
That's what I'm saying.
But when he became the starter and the focus of the offense, or the second focus of the offense, that's when he started to blossom.
Those guys, he blossomed once a week, and then he kind of faded back into the middle of the pack once a week.
Both
he
those guys
20 a night
once
he started.
Averaged or had once in a while?
No, he averaged 20 a night once he got put into the starting lineup for the last month and a half of the year. He averaged 20 a night.
I do not believe you, sir. We'll check this later.
I believe myself.
I know you do. I love that.
It's the same story with Green. He shows flashes of greatness.
Yeah. Yes.
Even Kevin Garnett said something ridiculous about him, maybe being one of the best players
one of the best players ever is what Kevin Garnett said.
And which is fine, KG. Like, you see something in him. But that sums up Jeff Green. I mean, one night he looks like one of the best players in the NBA, and the next night we don't even know if he played. Mm-hmm. And I think they need more consistency out of him. He knows it, and he knows he needs to be more aggressive. So if he does all those things, he's your best player of the first half.
Well, the thing is, he now that it's like his offense to go wild with, we're not really seeing a diversified scoring system from him or attack from him. He hurt his left wrist tonight or his left arm tonight.
Yeah.
But why did he miss any time? He's never used his left arm before. He's still when he tries to drive right, if he gets cut off short, he just tries to jump over everyone instead of going to his left hand. Which
he prays to get a whistle and usually doesn't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a good jumper.
Yeah, exactly. But he's not really doing anything different than what he was doing last year.
No, it doesn't look like.
And he's not doing it more than he was doing it last year.
Yeah, I mean, you said it has to be his offense, but it's not really anybody's offense. It's an offense of you
try
to run the floor and score in transition, or you try to just move it and get an open shot. But it's not really like any one guy controls the flow of the offense. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, Jeff Green's going to find just within the flow open looks, but he's not going to have to score 20 a night. That's not the way this team's going to function.
And let's be fair, the team.
So who's your player?
No.
I thought we were still doing that.
No, let's not be fair. Go ahead.
Can I say that? Like,
this is going way too. This is going way too long. So just
all right, Sullinger. I'm done.
Okay.
Sullinger.
That's right. My player of the first half is going to be
Give me 3 lines
Sullinger.
of analysis, just for the viewers.
But there's a logjam at the power forward position. I mean, Chris Humphries and Olynyk and
there's Chris Humphries.
He doesn't make them redundant. It's the same thing you said about me.
But they're different players, and like you can put Olynyk and Sullinger together on the floor a lot easier than you can put Wallace and Jeff Green on the floor together. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know.
I definitely think
all
Sullinger
4 of
played more
those
minutes
guys.
than Jeff Green.
I think you're a little too down on Jeff Green right now.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
That's possible, but I'm also up on Gerald Wallace, who I think plays a very similar role.
I think the go-to lineup for this team right now is Green at the 2, Wallace at the 3, and then whatever concoction of bigs you want to put at the 4 and the 5. They can flex between going big and small as much as they want. That's the beauty of not really competing for the championship, is your lineup can be completely curtailed to who you're facing. But
I think
Jeff Green's got to be 38 minutes a game.
I think when healthy, the Celtics' best 5 guys do not include Jeff Green. I think they're going to play Rondo, Bradley, Wallace, Sullinger, Olynyk. Boom. That's no Jeff Green.
Rondo,
Jeff Green can
Bradley,
be perfectly fine.
Sullinger, Olynyk,
Wallace at the 3, where Jeff Green is going to back him up. That's what I'm saying.
So you're starting Jay Crawcraw?
No, he said
What
Rondo.
did I just say?
With Rondo.
Oh, with Rondo. I'm not listening anymore. It's late. Give me a break.
All right, this show
Let's
is
get out of
completely
here.
off the rails. This is
All
terrible.
right, that's the end of the
Thank you.
preseason. We'll come back and we'll figure out what the hell is going on for the regular season premiere of the Garden Report. Evans Clinchey, Jimmy Toscano, I'm Jared Weiss. We'll see you next week. This is the Garden Report.